we need to stop. It's not about being busy. It's about being productive. Because I tell you, we can easily be busy and not get anything done. Unfortunately, we inflate our egos and we feel good when we're busy because it feels like artificially that we're getting things done. Yet we get to the end of the day and what actually have we achieved?
Welcome to WonderVoice, and we are here to co-create a new standard of wellness in the digital age world. I'm Rachel Wingman, and today we are diving something we all live with every day, every single day. That is our best friend, our brain. So this brain wellness episode is going to be for founders, for high performers, for parents, pretty much for everyone who's always been keep them on the go and they are juggling too many things, and then they have the desires they want to be achieved while they've been working on million things at the same time. The perfect guest speakers we are getting in today is Dr. Leanne Elich. Hello, welcome to the WonderVoice.
Hey Rachel, great to be here. I've been so excited to be on WonderVoice, and here I am. Thank you.
Yes. So recently I've got very interesting real experience just happened. My home actually, I've got a dead body possums in the roof. And then I was so in a rush and very panicking. I wanted to be removed the dead body out of my house. And obviously, then I just doing the research and finding the providers who can help me to do the job. And then I just easily to find someone from the internet. And the people's been show up in my place and then get me to inspect the house and how they're going to be managed doing the job. Then they quote me $2,900. And however, I'm just so in a rush. I really want to get rid of the dead body. Then of course I negotiated about a couple of $100 and reduced down to $2,000. Then I already say, okay, we're down to $2,000. Then let's do it. And without doing a further research or to fact check and what's the market value. In the end, the guy actually come up to the roof and break the ceiling.
No.
Well, the problem get escalated even further. I don't just manage the dead body, but I actually managing the incident, the damage the ceiling. I have to ask myself to pause and calm it down, focus on what's my priority. The priority is not this to think how I going to be like a blaming the contractor or the blaming why the ceiling's now broken. The focus is I still really want to get rid of the dead body because make me feel so uncomfortable. And then I take control back and find another contractor to come and helping me to remove the dead body. And you know how much, Leanne?
How much?
$338.
No way. Well,
How crazy it is.
yeah,
Right?
there you go.
How
Yeah.
crazy it is.
Yeah.
What your thought is when people thinking about, the stress, right? I was in a stress and panic mode. And stress is like we're always thinking about is a negative. And as well as the stress is going to be harm your mental health. Not only mental health, but also could be your financial health as well. So what's your thought in this?
Yeah. Wow. What a start. So firstly, the dead body has gone. It's been removed. Okay, so I'm giggling because of you calling it the dead body. That just cracks me up. It's this little possum in a little body bag being removed from your roof and out it goes onto the next part of its life. But you're right. Extremely stressful situation. But not only that, highly emotional. And one of the things that we don't realize is that we think we are rational and we are not. We have one brain with two types of significant thinking. We have a system 1 and system 2 thinking, and one is an emotional side, which is 95%.
Yes.
And the other one is our rational side, which is only 5%. Unfortunately, because a lot of the emotional state that we're in and emotional thinking, because it's so high, we do make errors in judgment. You were in a situation that you were highly stressed. You're thinking about need to get the possum removed. I'm willing to take a risk, which is what you did with that contractor. The price as well, you were able to negotiate it down, but you weren't in really any particular state to be able to do that. So well done to you to be able to do what you did. It's still not ideal. But the thing is that stress is there for a reason. And yes, we say that it is a negative, and it is because there are a lot of, repercussions and consequences around stress. But stress is there to protect us. We have a stress hormone called cortisol. The reason why we called a brain, as you beautifully put, our best friend, is because the brain is there to protect us. It keeps us alive. So we need to have this particular cortisol, this particular neurochemical, to elevate, or what we call upregulate, to remove us from dangerous situations. If we didn't have cortisol, didn't have a stress hormone, we'd be doing things left, right and center. No one would be alive. So it is important that we do feel that stress to control our actions. However, because of some other variables and just the environment that you're in, other things take over. And that's what we need to be able to manage. One thing in particular is that I want you to think of the brain as front and back. We have the prefrontal cortex at the front, and we have what we call the primitive brain at the back. The primitive brain is where the cortisol is. But what cortisol does is it stops us from thinking clearly. So it purposely inhibits us from making decisions, really good decisions or reasonable decisions, from using the prefrontal cortex at the front, which is why you said, okay, I'll agree to 2,800. You then went, oh, that's a little bit high. Let me see if I can negotiate him down. But still, up you go without checking references, without doing some research and looking at options, because you were stressed around the dead body and you were stressed around removing the situation that was like, get out of here. So everything else, so that just took over.
Yes.
Forget the possum situation. This is what we do every single day with all decisions all the time. Possum or no possum.
Yes.
Work, our relationships, when we play sport, competitiveness, our personal and professional development. We all have a dead possum in our head. We all have that concept, I'm using the metaphor now, of what do I do to get rid of this? And unfortunately, we focus more on that than the positive. So what can we do to down-regulate cortisol and stress? There's lots of things. We need to set ourselves some goals. We need to think, what do we enjoy doing? The other thing that's really important is don't feel guilty about being stressed. I want you to remember, it's there for a reason. It's there to protect us. That stress is there for a reason. Yes, it's not great, and we need to, make sure that it is regulated. But it's important that we do feel that, to stop us from making bad decisions and dangerous decisions that we would otherwise. So don't feel guilty about that. But then, again, what resonates with you? What do you want to do? What are the outcomes? What do you want to look forward to? What makes you feel good? What are those things? Concentrate on those. Thinking about, okay, I need to get someone who is experienced, who knows about roofs, who knows about removing a substance or a rodent or an animal in this case without harming the family, without damaging, being able to put that into practice and not let our emotions take over.
Yes. Wow. And I really love what your key messaging here is about. Don't feel guilty about you are under stress, because it's kind of the normal human being thing, right? And once you recognize it, actually you can make a better decision and
100%.
And leading to a different outcomes. Hello, wonder who you are becoming. What is your next journey? Stay curious and stay open. Subscribe WonderVoice. You will get more stories, real story, more insights, and different journey coming next. So now we talk about people, they always connecting the stress to negative. Talk about the other side then. And also people, they all talking about positive mindset, right? That's kind of the trends, because people say, oh, you need to be thinking positively. You need to have a positive mindset. However, they think positive mindset is kind of the motivation. But indeed, it's not. The positive mindset is helping us, how are we going to be control our thought, right? Because the thought will be making an impact to your decision. The decision also creating a different outcomes. Can you walk us through this chain?
Yeah, so motivation is an interesting word. We use it as more of an adjective describing how we feel, but it is an action. And to be honest, no one really knows what motivates someone. They say, oh, this really motivates. Does it? Does it really? And it's hard to say, yeah, I know what motivates someone or I know what motivates myself, but actually the outcome that motivates us. What's the action and what happened? What was the solution? What was the outcome? And because if it's a negative outcome, all of a sudden we're not that motivated anymore. But we learn from it, right? And we learn, there was a big lesson that you learned with the possum, but we learn from that, and that's okay. That's okay. So having a positive outlook, absolutely. One thing that we need to be very careful of is does positive outlook lead to success? Not always. Not always. We need to be careful with how we position ourselves, the decisions that we make. We need to look at what options that we have and how we can strategically and with our own experience or learn how we can better each of these situations. And sometimes it is finding out more for information. Sometimes it's looking at our resources, asking people if we're not sure. Positivity is a little bit of a cliche. And I mean, come on, those of you that know me know I'm one of the happiest people on earth. And I am extremely positive. I mean, you too, Rachel. I mean, gosh. But it's not maintainable. Am I always like that? No. And that's okay, because you need to be able to recognize when you need to look after yourself, when there is some negativity or you need support, you need some help. And again, not feeling guilty for that. But a lot of optimism comes from positivity. And I love that word, optimism. And I like optimism a little bit better than positivity. And I also like optimism better than motivation, because it's an initiative to do good. It's an initiative to move forward. It's an initiative that is not just about you, but about, a group or a collective, thinking forward. What could be? What's the potential? We all have bad days. And again, that's okay. And we need to acknowledge it. We need to deal with it. We need to pause, as you say. And the one thing is, you're having a bad day. Are you going to get as much done? Probably not. Again, that's cool. Do you might need to delegate a little bit more? Sure. That's okay. You mightn't achieve as much as you expected. That's what we got to deal with. We need to manage those expectations, not be disappointed, because tomorrow is another day. And tomorrow, you still got your friends, you still got your support, you still got your business, you still got people around you, you still got yourself, you still got your tools. I always say, as we develop professionally and personally, we have a backpack. And in that backpack, they are full of tools. And the people that we come across, the things we learn, we add those tools to your backpack. And sometimes we have to just put them away. Sometimes we get them out. But those tools are still there. Stress is okay as long as you're looking after yourself. It is moderate. You've got the tools around it. It's when we become obsessive around stress that it causes a problem.
So move on to the next question is, many leaders tell me when I provide them the corporate wellness programs, I heard about is, I'm productive, but I'm reacting. I'm busy, but not clear. My mind seems like it never stop. It just keep running and running. My brain's got hijacked. Instead, I can really control what I want to do. So if that is the case, what is your tips here? How can I reset my brain?